All right, guys, welcome back. It's been a long time to the New Jersey High School Strength Coaches Podcast. I'm with my bro, Paul Collodi, Hunter and Central Regional High School strength coach. And if you guys have never been here before, welcome. My name is Zach Evanesh. I'm the strength coach at Middletown High School South. Paul and I were doing these a little more frequently during COVID, and then life happened, got all crazy busy. And so we like to have a theme as we approach certain times of the year. So right now it's mid-August. We're approaching the beginning of the school year. New Jersey is still very far behind compared to other states like Indiana, Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Iowa, Ohio, Michigan. Son of a bitch. Of full-time. They have a lot of full-time high school strength coaches, not physical education teachers, strength and conditioning coaches. And so we don't have that. We tend to have sport coaches running the weight room. So our goal is to really try to bring forward what is the best thing to do for high school athletes. Southern Regional and Manasquan do strength and conditioning during the day. Southern Regional makes it mandatory for athletes during physical education. And if you are in a specific sport, they make sure that you do not have health or driver's ed during your season. That way you could do your strength training in season. And I'm going to say this last thing, Paul, then we're going to organize training for the fall. Tips for September. Football players do not get a helmet in August unless they have accumulated 75 high school at Southern Regional strength and conditioning workouts. That means you're doing your strength and conditioning during your physical education block, and then you're coming during summertime. And why do they do that? It's a massive safety concern. It helps with liability, and it's what's best for the kids. They don't make it optional.
Brings the athletic department together. That came straight from the mouth of the athletic director, which blew my mind. And I think the biggest thing he said was that it was clear in town, this is the expectation. Don't come to us and say, well, we didn't know. It was spread out around the town. Everybody knew this is what you needed to do. If you wanted to put on the black and gold at Southern Regional, this is what's going on. And I think that leads the way as far as what we're doing, as far as mentality, because it's a safety concern for the kids. Are they getting acclimated to the physical activity they need? Are they getting strong enough? Are they getting fast enough? Are they athletic? Or are they just putting on the jersey? Because that's not what we want. We want kids to be able to compete and do it at a high level every day.
Even with the best preparation, Paul, there's still high risk of injury. Football, even I don't want to say soccer is a non-contact sport. It's definitely a contact sport, but we're definitely seeing, even if you're properly prepared, there's chances of injury. So we never say injury prevention. We just talk about preparation. What is the best preparation? And so if you are a sport coach, you don't just want to train your athletes in season. You want to have an off-season program that focuses on consistency with the basics. And then when the in-season comes, they are prepared. They are ready, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, psychologically. But if you don't do anything for the 9 to 10 months out of season, and then all of a sudden in season, you're like, hey, we're hitting the weight room and we're going to practice. Plus you have games, plus the stress of school, your athletes will never get better. And I'll say this and I'll let you take it away. When I see athletes, whether they're boys or girls in my school, who are still using the same weight as 1 to 2 years ago, this is where I tell them, it's just like taking your foreign language. I took Spanish in high school. In the summertime, if I did not speak Spanish, when I came back in September, 50% of my Spanish was gone. I was very rusty. So if I squatted 95 pounds freshman year, and I'm still doing it sophomore year and again junior year, why? You're not consistent. And so I urge coaches and administration to work together and come up with a consistent plan like Southern Regional. Either the athletes are going during physical education or they're coming after school, and it's got to be consistent. And then of course, you need a qualified strength coach in the weight room. And the way to start with that would be NHSCA has a certification, and then you need a lot of hands-on experience. You and I are going to be doing an in-service at South River High School for their new weight room, and we'll be going over how should you train physical education students who are not in athletics, and then how can you tweak it for athletics. But I love what Southern Regional's doing. They have it during the day, and it's pretty much mandatory. Pennsauken did the same thing. Their principal and AD went to the middle school in the spring and said, athletics at Pennsauken is a privilege. It's not your right. So they're basically saying you don't get to come here and tell us you're, too busy to train. This is what we do. This is the expectation. And then this is our standard.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy says it the best, and we've both known Jeremy for a long time. He says when expectations are clear, all the other choices go away. You know what I mean? There's no other choices. This is your choice, and I think that's the biggest thing. That there's everybody now. It's good enough. You say it all the time. Good enough is definitely great. Well, at least they're doing something. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of good enough. That's why our shirt says "Choose to be great." You have a choice. The choices are clear. If you make those choices the right way and do the things that we ask you to do, and follow those expectations, that our results are going to be, just so much better. And we're not there yet, but every day I'm chipping away, and I know you're chipping away at that to get better.
Brick by brick is how you build it. My one buddy in Indiana, he always says it's never going to be perfect. You will have good days, you will have bad days, but every day you got to, like you're saying, chip away and make it better. And I love when expectations are clear, people don't have 5 different choices. And I'm saying that as somebody who's been a private strength coach since 2002. We've always told kids, step 1, train with your team. Step 2, when you come here, let us know if you did anything that we're about to do, and we will adjust and fill in the gaps and fill in the blanks. Because when I have 40 to 80 athletes in the high school weight room, I can't do the same stuff I do at the underground strength gym. And so we make modifications. Like we just had a kid come at 4:00. He works out with his high school football team. Well, when he comes in, there's things he doesn't get there, and we just put them into the workout, and we make sure he's not doubling and repeating what he did at the high school. Let's talk about organizing for September, Paul, because tryouts in New Jersey is starting this coming week or the next week, depending on the sport. And also, I want you to touch on some kids are going to get cut. Right. We have, I don't know if soccer does cuts, but volleyball usually has to make cuts. And some teams in New Jersey, and it's probably nationwide, are struggling with numbers because some kids are opting to not compete in high school sports. They're like, I'll just compete with my travel team. So talk to us about organizing and best preparing the kids and best preparing as a teacher / strength coach for the fall for September.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now is to make sure our athleticism is the highest it could be. And that means that we are strong enough, that we have the right speed, and more importantly, game speed. In the past, you said things that I've maybe I felt that I've done wrong. I think I chased numbers too much going into the fall, instead of looking at the whole picture, looking at not just the weight room numbers, but looking at our flying 10s with a 20-yard run in, our flying 10s with a 5-yard run in, looking at all of those, how well we roll, how well we crawl and do cartwheels, and how we've improved. And I can tell you right now, seeing that, we did max reps bench yesterday with our football team. And in the past, I would have been stressed out a little bit where we were. I had 2 kids, one kid do our running back, 175 pounds, do 225 for 15 reps. One of our D linemen did 225 for 19 reps. I had multiple of our linemen do 185 for 15, 16, 17 reps. Like, I stood back and all I could do, Zach, was smile. Like,
that's amazing.
All right, we're where we need to be right now. And yet, 3 of my linemen were in the top 10 for flying 10 with a 20-yard run in. And, we're fast, we're explosive. And if I was chasing just numbers in the past, I'm not sure I would have gotten all that. I would have gotten a good maybe a 1 RM bench, but I wouldn't have got that anaerobic capacity. I wouldn't have had that that toughness to gut out another 1, 2, or 3 reps. And man, I told Casey, our football coach, I was standing there, and all I could do was smile, and I was ear to ear, and now it's up to them. They got to study their playbooks, they got to look at their huddle, they got to watch video, and they got to be able to take what we've done in the last 6 weeks in summertime and apply it to the court or to the field.
Yes, and I think what you mentioned with just focusing on the weight room numbers, some people just focus on the flying 10, the flying 20, the vertical. Athletes need all of these things, especially in high school, a balanced program. So utilize anything you can to test them in all areas. So I don't like to do 1 rep maxing with high school athletes. I think that's a high skill movement. It's best served for power lifters, but you can see, hey, we don't have to even announce it's a test. Just say, hey, we're going to work up to our best 3 rep trap bar deadlift with a flat back. And I want you to feel like you could do 4 reps. Today, we're going to find out how many reps you could bench. If you're a lineman, if you're an O-line, here's the weights we're looking at. If you're a D-line, here's the weights. If you're a skill guy, or if you're upperclassmen, underclassmen, keep it simple. Same thing with your testing. Test vertical, test broad, and test a flying 10 with a 10-yard flying. You could make it very simple. And, what's one real test that is should be really a big indicator is just consistency. What is your attendance? And so I was speaking with a buddy of mine, and he said when a new basketball coach came into the school, he sat down with him and said, hey, tell me about your program. Let's figure out how we could work together, how we could motivate our team, this basketball team to show up. And he said, hey, let's track attendance. And like Tony Holler does, he does record, rank, publish. So we're going to record it, we're going to rank you, and then we publish it. So for example, talking about, organizing for the fall, we've been using Team Builder for a few months. I just got the 2 TVs. On that TV, I want us to publish the record, the leaderboard, because we have too many athletes using the same weight as last year and 2 years ago, and it's not sinking in that they used the same weight 2 years ago. It will sink in when they see that they're not in the top 10. And so we need to find ways to drive competition. And to me, that's one of my favorite things about technology. I'm not a big technology fan, but I want to leverage technology to make it easier. If you can't leverage technology and you don't have technology, you and I saw things like, it may have been at William Fly's place. Now he's at a different school, but he had like a miles per hour. I think there was like a 20 mile per hour sign, and you got to initial it if you hit it. And I don't know if the girls had a 15 mile an hour or 18 mile an hour, but something that goes up there that gets the kids to compete, because I think a lot of kids don't know how to compete anymore because they're so trained to be coached through travel sports. Do this, do ABC, do XYZ, stop here, make it perfect. So getting back to that competitive thing. And then I'm going to say this for organization. Organize the fall schedule right now. For example, I'm going to be training freshman football. They play football games on Thursdays. We know that. So we're going to lift Monday, Tuesday, 30 minutes each. So your in-season workouts could be 30 minutes. And if you're in a time crunch, they could even be 20 minutes. Do some crawls, do some quick jump training, and then maybe hit a main barbell movement, superset it with a jump, or superset it with a body weight exercise. So benching with pull-ups, squatting with jumping. But I could get that done in about 22 minutes. So never stop the in-season training. So I've already got freshman football organized. I don't want to wait until September and then everything's like, what are we doing? Everybody wants the same day. The other thing is get the coaches to understand that I'm not going to prioritize your team if you haven't showed up for 9 to 10. If you didn't show up at all in the off season, I may not even train that team in season, because that added stress can actually contribute to injury. Because let's say you, for 10 months, Paul, you haven't done lunges, squats, push-ups, dumbbell bench. and now your legs are fatigued because your coach suddenly signed up the team for training. And kids who are untrained, you'll notice they start leg cramping from body weight lunges. Well, now you send them out to do their practice, which is their speed work, and somebody could actually get injured because their legs are rubbery and wobbly. So you stress them out before the sport skill stressor. You have fatigued an untrained body and an untrained mind.
And that's the big thing. Exactly. When school starts, there's so much going on. They have all those classes going on. Their ability to recover may be a little bit diminished because of all of that stress and cortisol level from all the new stuff that's coming up, especially the freshman and sophomore. And it could be a really tough transition for these kids. Now we add on, some unilateral work or some stressors, just like you said, body weight. Now they're sore, they can't recover from that, and their coach asks them to go out and run a 5-mile tempo run, and they can't do it, and they wonder why their times are going down, especially if they're a running athlete, when it could be as easy as, hey, get some off-season training in so that your body's used to this. So that stressor isn't even, it's already wiped out because you've been doing it to your body all year round, so you don't even have to worry about that.
Right. If you are trained and prepared through a great in season is preceded by a consistent off season. Yep. I'm repeating that. You want a great in season? You want a great sports season? Show me a consistent, well-prepared off season, which for most of my teams at my high school is twice a week. It used to be 3 days a week, but I have found that they're just juggling too much. They have work. They have a job, especially if they have a car or they're saving for a car. They have sport clubs, which tend to be, real intense. And sometimes the sport clubs are incorporating strength and conditioning. And just like in New Jersey, high schools, a lot of these sport clubs don't have qualified strength coaches. And so I have found some of our most advanced athletes cannot do a bodyweight squat or a proper push-up. So high-level sport, low-level skill in strength and conditioning, because I found that speed and agility and core work, the big buzzwords, are just it's like throwing paint on a wall. So if you want your team to be have a great in season, you need a well-prepared off season. And if it's brand new this year, then keep the intensity and volume very low in season. So do some calisthenics for the warm-up, slow and steady, incorporate isometric holds for upper and lower body, lunge hold, squat hold, split squat, wide stance squat, push-up hold from top, middle, staggered. That's actually prepping them for impact because, soccer players, you're falling on the ground, okay? Or you're colliding into somebody. You need to prep the body. And then you could do some basic dumbbell work, dumbbell squat for 3 sets of 6 to 8. You could superset it with a jump, or, when I'm training athletes twice a week, Paul, I go full body because they need the volume of work. I would love to do like lower body with upper body calisthenics. Day 2, upper body with lower body, maybe some jumping or sleds. Day 3, full body, higher reps, building muscle. But I'm not getting teams 3 days a week. And because of that, I will often do 2 full body workouts because that's the stimulus they need. So for organizing, I'm still going to try twice a week in season. And if a team could do 45 minutes, I'll do it. If they're on a time crunch, I'll go 30 minutes. I'll go 20 minutes because 20 minutes is 100% more than 0.
I agree, 100%. I want to jump back to what you said about to record, rank, and publish. I had the opportunity to go out to Fordham today and spend some time with Joe Gilfetter. We were actually talking about exactly that he started putting his numbers up on the wall and the guys knew where they were. So it was the same day that they put them up on the wall. He said he noticed that the guys came in the room and that was the first thing they did. They all gathered around and they were looking where they were. I'm like, man, that's awesome. Even at the Division I level, the guys are competitive. And if we could trickle that down to where we are and get the kids excited about walking in the room and seeing where they are, I think that goes a long way. And you don't need technology for that necessarily. I mean, it's good to have the dasher and the team builder, all of that, but hey, if all you have is a stopwatch and you're recording those numbers and it's consistent and you're the ones doing it, put it up on the board and the kids get to see where they are. That gives them that excitement every
Yeah.
week. You know, I started doing that again this summer, and it's up on I put it up there on the whiteboard, and the kids are all flocking over there as soon as they come in, and it becomes exciting for the kids that day. Our
What
kids
are
post them actually on Instagram. They post them in their story.
and that's what Tony Holler talks about. He's like, I'll publish it on social media. That's where the kids live. That's also parents are looking. And so, mom and dad might say, hey, Johnny, hey, Jenny, how come you're not in the top 10? That doesn't mean Johnny and Jenny is a bad kid or a bad athlete, but it starts opening up conversations where one of my goals this year too, Paul, is more communication with parents. So in the fall, parents are busy driving their kids everywhere. I'm in that same boat. Your kids were in that boat. Now they're in college or just out of college, but parents are very busy. But we need to find ways to communicate with them. So I'm going to hold like a, how they hold a back to school night. I will hold like an open house for athletics and talk about nutrition, strength and conditioning, open up for Q&A, and just do something that's like 40 minutes, for parents to come sell some t-shirts, get some money in our strength and conditioning account. But, what we want to do is brilliance with the basics with these kids. So, hey, Johnny, Jenny, why are you not in the top 10? That opens up a conversation. And then mom and dad might reach out to me and I could say, listen, your son, I love your son. I love your daughter. But when he or she is in here, they're yawning a lot. I wonder, what does the nutrition look like? They seem very tired. They haven't been able to add weight to the bar or the dumbbells, or they're still struggling on push-ups. Does Jenny do push-ups at home every day? That's something you should see. So it opens up kind of this like teamwork. I tell parents, this is a team effort. You got to stock the fridge and the cabinets at home. You got to make sure your son and daughter get to bed on time and they don't go to bed at 10, but fall asleep at midnight or 1 a.m. because they're on their phone. Yeah. And so I tell kids, hey, when I'm looking at your physique, I either see steak and potatoes or SpaghettiOs. I tell them, got to go for the throat on that. But nutrition is a make or break factor, very much. And we've got kids that are either carrying excess body fat or they're way undersized. We want teenagers that look strong, healthy, and muscular, like the kids in the, that video, the JFK Project video, the presidential La Sierra High School. We need kids that look and are athletic. So, Paul, I know you got to go. Do you have any closing comments, not just on training, but movies that coaches should be watching or food?
I saw Equalizer 3 finally. They brought it up on Netflix. I watched it. I thought it was pretty good. I see what you said about maybe not as active action wise as the other two.
Right.
But man, Denzel's still a badass.
He's a badass. I know.
And it came up the one day, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I watched John Wick for the first time.
Which one? There's like 5 of them now.
I watched the first one.
It's good.
And he's just, he gets a puppy, and they do something to his puppy that was unmentionable, and all of a sudden he's back. He's smashing his cellar floor, the concrete. I'm like, this is a pretty good movie. So I watched the whole thing. Now I got to go to 2 and 3. So I'm on a kick there too.
He's a true dog lover. If we parallel that in strength and conditioning, it would be like, I'm smashing the basement floor and digging out like old VHS tapes of Dr. Ken and Brooks Cubic dinosaur training. I will say this. I saw on YouTube another Rambo is coming out. I thought it was over. I think we're on Rambo 6. You got to finish on top, right? You don't want to finish like Sergio Oliva came back, competed in the Olympia. You just got to dominate and leave. And then, another movie recommendation, if you love vigilante movies, is Reacher, which I think was on Netflix. Reacher, he's like a Marine, and he like kicks the crap out of everybody. And then he's in prison and he beats up the inmates. So if, I just don't want people throwing us under the bus and saying it's, it's date night, honey, we're watching. And then they're like, oh, Coach Collodi and Evanesh said we should watch Equalizer and Reacher. Don't throw us under the bus. What happens on the New Jersey High School Strength Coach podcast stays here. Don't blame us.
On the food side, Father's Day this summer, I did get a Blackstone. I can tell you, it is a game changer. It really is. I haven't even transitioned it to the backyard yet. I still just do it I got it out in the front yard. I roll it out into the driveway. I got my apron on. I'm going crazy. People are driving by. I'm waving my spatula, smash burgers. We did Philly cheesesteaks. The Blackstone has been a game changer. Tough part now is that in September, both kids will be out of the house. My wife and I are going to be empty nesters and just cooking for her and I. So,
well, you'll be grilling at the Springfield home football games, right?
Yeah, well, I bring a portable griddle. We'll do that every Saturday, whether it's home or away. We go up there.
What?
And my daughter's got into PA school at Monmouth, so she'll be at Monmouth down by University. So I may be staying at the Evanesh house a couple times.
Let's go. Hate to disappoint you. I don't have a Blackstone. I got a Weber gas grill, which I'm not a fan of. But quick question, about Springfield. Does Adam Fight roll up when you're grilling in the parking lot?
You know what? Tag him in this post. I am challenging Adam Fight to come out. I get there around 10 o'clock. 10:05, the griddle's hot, and I've already got eggs going down with pork roll, egg and cheese sandwiches. It's Jersey up in Massachusetts. So I challenge Coach Fight to come out and knock down a couple pork roll, egg and cheese with us, Jersey style. And a lot of Jersey families up at Springfield College. So we always do it right.
The New Jersey invasion of Massachusetts. All right, team. So head on over to nhssca.us.us. And when you become a member, it's only $100, or for students, it's $50. So it's less than $10 a month. There's professional development. So there's seminars and state clinics that were recorded. I put in things like our strength and conditioning curriculum is in the back end. There's fundraising information. There's a lot of information. Paul and I will announce the state clinic. We usually do it in March. We're hoping to do it at SJV, where Eddie Hernandez is, something in Central Jersey. But get involved with NHSCA, get into the Facebook group. And if you are an athletic director, use the funds and have whoever's running the weight room in your school go through the certification, because it's a liability. It educates them, and the best strength coaches are constantly learning. So NHSSCA, that's the National High School Strength Coaches Association .us. That's all I got, Paul. That's all we got, right, buddy?
That's it. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you guys soon.
See everybody soon. Hold on, Paul.